gaming nerds? I am so excited to show you what is right here. Now, this was purchased off of the Etsy store. Well, fun fact is my brother had a big life-size one upstairs in his bedroom, and he refused to sell it to me and I offered him 50 bucks for it. He could have made some dough that day, but he didn't. I was really jealous that he had it because it was really fucking sick, and it was actually 3D printed, and it was like painted and stuff like that. I've never seen a 3D printer do something like this, but it looks pretty sick. And it was the PlayStation logo because I'm like a huge PlayStation fan. That's one of the consoles that I grew up with, next to like all like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance SP. But PlayStation was actually the first console I actually like truly enjoyed gaming on. So here we go. So this is from Etsy. This was about, I think it was like $30 that was with shipping and everything like that. It took about a month to get to me, but it was from the United Kingdom. So yeah, so it's really fucking sick. So here we go. So it comes like a little bit with like a little mini stand. Put this thing on there. Oh god. There. So this is the PlayStation logo. So this is actually a really sick piece. It's not as big as my brother's upstairs. But I mean, it's really sick to add to my collection. So this is going to go downstairs on my glass, TV stand or whatever, in between like my consoles. So yeah, this is a 3D printed model of the PlayStation logo. I don't know if like the 3D printer comes with color or if Buddy Boy hand painted this. All I know is that if you go to his website, his name is Ready Player 2. He creates like these logos as well as like the Wii ones, the Sega, like all of like your die-hard like video games like you grew up with. He creates these logos for, and they're very affordable, but it takes about a month to get to you. But yeah, so like I said, I grew up playing PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 1 downstairs. I do have a PlayStation 2. I have a PlayStation 3. I have the Xbox. I have the Xbox 360. I have the Xbox One. I have the Xbox Series X. I do have a GameCube and stuff like that. I have a Nintendo 3DS. I also have a Nintendo Switch Lite. So I do have a variety of consoles. I'm not like a huge console collector. I just have like certain games I enjoy on those consoles, if that makes sense. But yeah, so like one of my first games that I fell in love with was the Resident Evil series. So that was the director's cut. So like my dad, he was a huge video game player, and one of his first consoles, I don't know if he bought it himself or if my Nana bought it for him, but he played a lot of like the Tomb Raider games and like the Resident Evils on that console, and then he gave it to me, and then ever since then I actually have his original PlayStation downstairs, but unfortunately the sensor broke. So my brother and me did a trade, so he gave me a new PlayStation, so now I have that. But it's good though, because like now I can play like my Resident Evil games. But yeah, so like the Resident Evil games is why I fell in love with the series. And then like let's not to mention that there is like a lot of really good games for the PlayStation, like the Resident Evil series, and there's the Tomb Raider series, and then there's Nightmare Creatures, and then the Dino Crisis series. So and then the Spyro series. They have like a lot of really good games that people in today's generation won't enjoy unless you actually have them. And then all these games now, because there's like a huge market for them, people are collecting, like my brother upstairs, he's collecting all of the Wii games, he's collecting like all of these consoles and stuff like that to grow his collection as well as to buy, sell, and trade, and like to make money off of them. But these games that you can't get nowadays are going for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? And my personal collection downstairs I will never sell, because it's like literally like 90s type games, and like nobody can ever get them. Like, and like I said, like I have like all the series in like different types of consoles. But yeah, so it's a huge thing for me. Like gaming's been a huge part of my life. And I remember like when my mom and my dad at the time, they bought us the Game Boys and stuff like that. And I remember like playing with like the Game Boy Color with like, it was a struggle because it was all black and white, and you had to get that stupid like little light thing that would go near it, and like you would play, and it was tough and stuff like that. I remember like also like playing late at night time when we were supposed to be going to bed, and then like when my parents would come upstairs to see if we were sleeping, and then we would just like fake sleep and then hide like the Game Boy underneath the pillow, and then like when they would shut the door, like we would play with we would play the console again, because it was like fun and addicting. I remember like we were also like in the car at the time, and like, you know, like the street lamps, and stuff like that, and like you're trying to put like the Game Boy close to like the street lamps because that's how dark it was. And then they advanced it to the Game Boy Advance SP. Sorry, the Game Boy Advance, and then the Game Boy Advance SP. But sadly, I don't own any of those consoles. I know my brother does, but I don't really care for them. But yeah, but there's like a couple games that I would really want to get again, like the dinosaur game where me and my brother, Anthony, we would like fight each other in the Jurassic Park game. That was fun. And there's actually like a lot of good games for that. But yeah, so it's really fucking sick to add this to my collection. I'm thinking about getting the buttons. There's like an acrylic one, and the buttons like light up, and there's like different modes and stuff you can, and it's like the square, the circle, the triangle, and the X. And I don't know, but if you're like a huge gamer like me, who's probably gonna game till like I'm fucking 80 years old, let's hope and pray I don't lose any of my hearing or my sight. Actually, I would be okay if I lost my hearing. I would be sad if I lost my sight, because then that would be the sad day, because I would never get to play my video games again. But fuck it, who needs to like hear video games or anything like that? But yeah, like I said, I'll probably be video gaming till like I'm like at least 80, 90 if I make it that long, because like video gaming is really cool. And the cool part about this is that when I welcome my kids into this world or whatever, they get to actually play these consoles, and they get to enjoy these games and enjoy the graphics that I grew up on and stuff like that. Like it was a struggle like back in the day when you had like your televisions and you had to turn it to like number 3 just to game, and then like you struggled with like putting like the yellow, the white, and the red wire into the back of like your TVs and stuff like that. Now, little did you know that not all smart TVs nowadays have those types of plugins and stuff like that. You have to buy new adapters now in order to play like the original consoles and stuff like that. Luckily, like my Samsung TV has those plug-in things, so like I don't have to buy the adapters for it. But you know what's funny is that I actually love the older graphics versus today's graphics. Like yes, today's graphics are a little bit more cleaner, more sharper, and it's like you're actually like looking at like a movie, like in a way. But like I prefer the graininess, the choppiness. That's the type of stuff that I like. And like I said, I could play Resident Evil Director's Cut like day in and day out and not get bored of it. I think I've beaten that game so many fucking times. It's way past the fingers on my hands, and I still fucking enjoy it. So yeah, so leave a like, leave a comment. I want to know like which consoles you guys grew up on and you enjoy till this day. Ciao for now.